used to run 4 minute.
Yeah, do some stuff. Let me warm up first.
Iron Mike Tyson has once again shown why his name still commands fear in boxing. News emerging from his training camp in Las Vegas is sending shockwaves through the sport. According to reports, a sparring partner was taken to the hospital after being rendered unconscious during a session with the 58-year-old icon. What makes it even more startling is that the incident reportedly occurred as Tyson gears up for a possible blockbuster exhibition clash with Floyd Mayweather.
Today, Mike is much better than he was when he fought the Dry. So 4 years later, with 58, he's better than 54. So he saw everything right, everything wrong he did, and he fixed it. This is the beauty of the fight. The energy is good, and his energy is good. So.
If you could have fought any fighter in your life, any weight, any era, who would you have picked that you would have liked to fight the most?
Floyd Mayweather.
I love it. Why?
Huh?
You want to knock him out?
Well, I would love to fight him. I wish he was my weight.
All right, interesting answer.
Sources familiar with the camp say the episode occurred during what was intended to be a controlled technical sparring workout. Tyson's team had invited a younger boxer, reportedly in his early 30s with solid professional experience, to assist him in drilling certain combinations and defensive situations. According to those present, everything began routinely, with both men outfitted in headgear and keeping the pace measured through the opening rounds.
You. Again, pass across. Your heels as I touch your guard, across. Balance. Beautiful.
Then, according to witnesses, the atmosphere shifted. During an exchange, the sparring partner landed a solid jab directly on Tyson's nose, nothing illegal, just a routine punch in the flow of practice. However, those present say the impact triggered an immediate transformation. One observer described how Tyson's body language and expression changed in an instant, as if something had been activated, bringing back the intensity that defined him in his prime.
Nice one, Mike. Nice one, Mike. Nice one, Mike. Time. More, Mike.
What followed, according to several accounts, escalated quickly. Witnesses say Tyson began throwing with full force, abandoning the earlier restraint. Reports describe a crushing combination that instantly shifted the mood in the gym. The younger boxer attempted to tie him up and ride out the storm, but Tyson created a sliver of distance and fired a punishing hook to the body, then drove a sharp uppercut that snapped his opponent upward. The fighter collapsed heavily, and those nearby claim he appeared unconscious before he even struck the canvas, with the impact of the uppercut echoing throughout the building. One source called it the most brutal moment they had seen in a sparring session in years. For a brief stretch, the entire gym fell silent before the team hurried over to assess the fallen boxer.
Right back to the body.
You right, coach?
Mike, tá well? Hey, we need 10 seconds. Put 10 seconds there.
Good shit.
Medical personnel were reportedly present, as is typical in a high-level camp, but insiders say an ambulance was called without delay when the sparring partner failed to respond as expected. According to accounts, he remained unconscious for several minutes and, after regaining awareness, appeared confused and unable to recall the sequence of events. Coaches decided to transport him to the hospital immediately for a thorough evaluation to ensure there was no serious injury. What adds another layer to the situation is that individuals within Tyson's camp claim he was visibly unsettled once he grasped the severity of the punch. Sources say he lingered in the gym well after the ambulance departed, quietly reflecting on the incident. Someone close to the team noted that Tyson understands the extent of his power, yet even he seemed taken aback by the level of force he can still produce at the end. Concern quickly centered on the injured sparring partner. Initial updates indicated he was undergoing tests for a possible concussion and would remain under hospital observation overnight. Later reports suggested he was discharged, though doctors strongly recommended several weeks away from any contact drills. Someone familiar with the evaluation said the medical team was genuinely surprised that a 58-year-old could still deliver that level of knockout force. The episode has rippled across the boxing world for several reasons. It reinforces that Tyson's trademark power has not faded with time. It fuels debate about what might unfold if he steps into the ring with Floyd Mayweather for the rumored exhibition, and it has other potential sparring partners thinking twice about sharing the ring with him, regardless of the paycheck. Turning to the reaction from professionals, the response has been compelling. Terence Crawford, who has reportedly assisted Tyson in preparing for the possible Mayweather bout, said in a recent interview that Tyson's power is something you truly grasp only when you feel it firsthand, explaining that seeing him strike the heavy bag is one thing, but absorbing even controlled shots in technical work is an entirely different experience.
I don't know what's going to happen with a 135-pounder going up against a 200-pounder. Dude is big. He's not as slow as people think he is, and he can punch.
Sean Porter took to social media to share his reaction, saying the episode reinforces a point he has long made. Punching power is the final attribute to fade, and Tyson possessed extraordinary force even among heavyweights at his peak. Porter added that if a controlled sparring session with a seasoned fighter in his 30s ended this way, it raises serious questions about the impact of a clean shot on Floyd Mayweather, whose career unfolded in lighter divisions where the dynamics of power are entirely different.
How do you analyze what a fight between Mike Tyson and Floyd Mayweather could look like, right? So then you think about when Floyd got in the ring with Big Show. We already know, like we know now more than we've ever known before that the WWE is fake. It's kind of like acceptable, but it wouldn't be acceptable in a boxing ring. You know, it wouldn't be acceptable if there becomes some sort of weird antics and things like that.
During an ESPN segment, Andre Ward offered a more measured assessment. He agreed that Tyson's power remains a real threat, yet he questioned how much this episode truly indicates about a possible matchup with Floyd. Ward explained that Mayweather's defensive style is built around avoiding clean contact altogether, emphasizing that stopping a sparring partner in the gym is vastly different from connecting in the same way against one of the most defensively skilled fighters the sport has ever seen.
Gonna have the energy to move the way that he did before. You could get a more entertaining fight. You can get more of a back and forth scrap, which is what a lot of people wanted. And it's not a guarantee that this fight goes the distance given these guys' age and where their punch resistance are, where their current punch resistance is, and you don't know.
On his program, Tim Bradley broke down the situation from a technical standpoint, noting that the reported sequence, a hook to the body followed by an uppercut, is among the most destructive combinations in boxing when timed properly. He explained that although Floyd's shoulder roll is highly effective, it can present openings to that specific attack if executed with precision. Bradley added that if Tyson has been refining that pattern under Terence Crawford's guidance, it could become a credible tool in a matchup against Mayweather.
In exhibitions, you know, Mayweather's he's still a killer, man, for real. Yeah, he still got it. So why not share the ring with Terence Crawford, man? You know, you still got it. I know you can still go those rounds. Yeah, you still work hard too. You still in shape, champ. Get that money, man. That's what you about. Money Mayweather. Make it happen. Bring it to the reality, right?
Heavyweights across the division have also weighed in. Deontay Wilder said the news doesn't surprise him, pointing out that power at heavyweight is simply different and that Tyson was among the most devastating punchers the sport has seen. Wilder noted that even at 58, despite slower reflexes and movement, that raw force remains embedded in Tyson's physical makeup, adding he would be more shocked if Tyson no longer had the ability to hurt opponents. Tyson Fury addressed it during a press conference with a lighter tone, saying Tyson's continued power at this age proves some athletes are simply born with explosive hands. Fury joked that he wouldn't spar with Tyson for $1 million, insisting no payout is worth being knocked out in a session that doesn't count. David Haye offered a technical explanation, stating that most fighters gradually lose stopping power as speed declines, limiting force generation. However, he emphasized that Tyson's impact was never based solely on quickness, but on precise mechanics, leverage, and natural strength working together, suggesting that even with diminished speed, those fundamentals can still create knockout-level force.
It was either Mike Tyson's knocking you out, one of the two. It was never a fight that I can remember where it was Tyson, Tyson's having a trouble, he's having a problem, and he brings it back round. At the moment he started to lose, or it started to get tough, it seemed to go the other way.
Now, turning to the potential clash with Floyd Mayweather, this incident has shifted the conversation entirely. Prior to these reports, analysts largely favored Mayweather due to his exceptional technique and defensive expertise. However, the discussion has now expanded to consider whether Tyson's enduring power introduces a legitimate threat that could no longer be dismissed. Pauli Malignaggi, who has deep insight into Floyd's style, admitted on a podcast that the sparring episode has slightly shaken his confidence in predicting the outcome. He clarified that he still expects Mayweather to control the fight by outboxing Tyson and avoiding damage throughout. Yet, Malignaggi conceded that if Tyson connects with one of his still potent shots, the bout could turn on a dime. While Mayweather has never been stopped in his career, he has also never faced the kind of raw power that Tyson can still deliver.
And you've still seen, regardless of what you think about his athletic ability and his boxing ability, you still see what happens when he lands a punch on somebody. He's still a strong guy. Mike Tyson is still 58, no matter what you think of him. 58 years old brain. Tyson doesn't have that crazy head movement that he had in his youth. First of all, that's an energy-burning style. At 58 years old, you're not pulling that style off. Tyson didn't even have that style in his mid-30s when he was almost at retirement age. He was already not moving his head like that.
On First Take, Stephen A. Smith reacted strongly to the news, arguing that the potential Mayweather-Tyson fight carries real danger and might need to be reconsidered. He noted that exhibitions are generally meant to be safe, controlled affairs, but if Tyson is knocking out prime professional fighters in sparring, a clean shot on Floyd could be far more serious. Stephen A. suggested that Mayweather might need to rethink the matchup, as the risk could outweigh the reward.
And then you saw the knee brace on, and you just saw the way he was moving. If you watch Mike Tyson, think about all the Mike Tyson fights we've seen. Think about the movement, the head movement, the foot movement, etc. And then to see that and to know that he's 31 years older than you, literally approaching 60 years of age, I think to see it in front of his face at that moment, it hit him.
Max Kellerman offered a contrasting view on the same show, arguing that the sparring incident actually heightens the intrigue and entertainment value of a potential Tyson-Mayweather matchup. He explained that fans are eager to see whether Mayweather's defensive brilliance can withstand Tyson's raw power, or if Tyson could achieve what no one else has and land a knockout. Kellerman emphasized that this uncertainty is precisely what drives interest. Following the news, betting lines reportedly shifted, with several offshore sportsbooks adjusting odds to make Tyson less of an underdog, citing increased wagers from bettors drawn to his knockout potential. Roy Jones Jr., who previously faced Tyson in an exhibition, added that Tyson's power is unmistakable, even when punches are controlled, recalling moments when his force was genuinely intimidating and reinforcing the plausibility of the recent sparring incident. Rafael Garcia, Tyson's current trainer, addressed the event cautiously, noting that while sparring accidents are part of boxing, Tyson's exceptional genetics, rigorous strength training, and flawless technique preserve his hand power, keeping him dangerous. The debate over exhibition rules has intensified, with some advocating for strict punch limits to ensure safety, while others argue that restricting the action undermines the authenticity fans expect. Teddy Atlas offered perhaps the most measured perspective, acknowledging Tyson's power but noting that connecting it on Mayweather would be far more difficult than in a gym session. Atlas explained that Mayweather's strategy would focus on constant movement, staying out of range, and making Tyson miss until fatigue sets in, highlighting that the key question isn't whether Tyson can deliver a knockout, but whether he can even land a clean shot. For ongoing updates on the latest news, events, and highlights in boxing, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and enable notifications to catch content like this. Until next time, peace.